Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Today we're looking at some new imports that are coming into Dawn of Majesty, and these are some important cards to feature. For starters, we've got Trickstar Festival. This is normal spell card with the effect special summon at 2 Trickstar tokens. They're fairy light attribute level 1s with 0 attack and defense. If a Trickstar monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You cannot normal or special summon monsters the turn you activate this card, except Trickstar monsters. You can only activate 1 Trickstar Festival per turn. I love the design of this card. For anyone who isn't aware, Trickstars do have quite a few link monsters, and just being able to go into a link 2 will help with a lot of your combos. There isn't really a downside to this. You are only able to use 1, so I think that's the easiest restriction that you have to really deal with. You can use this as a protection card effect for when your Trickstar is threatened from any type of battle destruction or card effect, so you've got that level of protection as well. These cards are easy enough to recover, but I doubt they're going to be that easy to recover from the banish pile. Depends on how you're planning to run the archetype. Arrive in Light is a continuous spell card with the effect when this card is activated, place 1 level 1 dragon monster from your hand or deck on top of your deck. Neither player can return a Stardust Dragon or a synchro monster that specifically lists Stardust Dragon in its text from the field to the extra deck. If a synchro monster is special summoned except during the damage step, you can apply one of the following effects, but you cannot apply that same effect of Arrive in Light again this turn. So you can either draw a card or special summon one tuna monster from your hand. The benefit of this card is it's meant to pair well with Majestic Dragon and Majestic Star Dragon. Majestic Dragon being a level 1 dragon monster, and I think there's another one, Stardust Xiaolong. Both being level 1s, they can go straight to the top deck, and then you're able to use, I think, one of the other search cards, which enables you to then special summon it to the field and hopefully go into your Mirage Star Dragon. That's the purpose of it. The other benefit is you're able to draw a card whenever you synchro summon, which is a decent enough effect. Or you can alternatively go for a tuna monster from your hand, which encourages you to then synchro summon again, in which case you can then draw off that synchro summon. Link Apple is a level 1 fire attribute Psyburst effect monster with 0 attack and defense. You can reveal this card in your hand, banish face up 1 random face down monster from your extra deck, then special summon this card, if the banished card was a link monster. Otherwise discard this card, and if you do, draw 1 card. You can only use this effect of Link Apple once per turn. I like the design of this card because its effect is useful either way. So if you happen to banish a Link monster, then you can special summon this, and you can use that in combination with your other Link monster to go into a higher Link monster from that. Alternatively, if you don't manage that effect, you just discard this card and then you just draw a new card. It's not going to cost you anything, you're just replacing one card for another. 2 Toads with 1 Sting is an equipped spell card. The effect, activate this card by targeting 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field, but negate its effect. Also equip it with this card. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. The equipped monster cannot attack or be targeted for an attack. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster was used as material for a fusion, synchro, exceed, or link summon, you can take control of that summoned monster. You can only activate 2 Toads with 1 Sting per turn. This is a very niche type of card, and I understand where it's going with. It's trying to be like a snatch deal without being a direct snatch deal. My concerns about this card is so long as your opponent can read text, they know how to get around this card. It also limits how and when you can attack. For example, since that's being summoned to your opponent's side of the field, it's preventing you from attacking because it cannot let you attack or be used as a selection for an attack. So even though it can't do anything, you can't do anything to your opponent. It is restricting your opponent in terms of their field zones, but if your opponent has an alternative strategy to get rid of this card, then I don't think it's that useful. High Ritual Art is a ritual spell card with the effect this card can be used to ritual summon any ritual monster from your deck. You must also tribute normal monsters from your hand whose total levels equal the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. Shuffle that ritual monster into the deck during your opponent's end phase. You can only activate 1 high ritual art per turn. So the benefits of this card are it's useful for normal monsters. It does encourage normal monsters to be played as part of a normal deck build strategy. That's really good because there are so many normal monsters in the game that are just forgotten about, and this is one way you can Konami can entice the community to start playing more of these. The other benefit is you don't actually have to draw into the ritual monster required. So long as you can meet the exact level of that monster, you can actually summon it straight from the deck, rather than having to have this card, the ritual spell, alongside that ritual monster. My concerns about this card are, for starters, even though it can be flexible for any monster you have, it does have to meet specific level requirements. That's a massive restriction. It destroys the ritual monster that's summoned during the opponent's end phase, so if you've invested heavy resources into summoning that monster, you shouldn't, because it's just going to disappear at your opponent's end phase. And the thing is, it is limited to normal monsters, so you are going to have to run very specific quantities to at least make the deck somewhat consistent, as those monsters have to be drawn into your hand to use them. Shinobi Insect Hagekurumino is a link to Wind Attribute Insect type link effect monster with 1000 attack. The link points are the top left and the bottom. It requires 2 monsters with different names. The effect, while this card points to a monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attack. If a monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or card effects, you can special summon one level 4 or lower insect monster from your hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect of Shinobi Insect Hagekurumo once per turn. The benefits of this card include that actually if your opponent goes after one of your other monsters, then you can simply replace it with another one, although the concern is that anything you do replace happens to be banished if that's then gotten rid of. It does also mean that any monster your opponent controls has to go after the monsters that are pointed towards this card's link points before they can actually tackle this card, providing you with maybe enough stall time to be able to go into a stronger link monster. And the final card is Goku Finishing Move. This is a normal spell card with the effect, target one Goku link monster you control. It gains attack equal to its link rating times 1000 until the end of this turn. Also, if it attacks a defense position monster this turn, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. For the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot declare attacks except with Goku monsters. You can only activate one Goku finishing move once per turn. I love the design of this card. This is exactly what it says on the tin. Finishing move. Its intention is to boost your Goku link monsters' attack points by multiple thousands to put them at a stage where they can actually outright dominate your opponent's monsters. Some of the higher link monsters are link 4s, so that would be giving them an extra 4000 attack points. And it doesn't matter if your opponent has an attack position monster or a defense position monster. Either way, your opponent is going to lose a significant amount of life points. The other thing is there isn't really a restriction outside of only Goku monsters can attack the turn. It's not like it's limiting you for only using that link monster, or that it has to be only monsters that don't go into direct attacks. You can actually use it as and when you feel like, and it's definitely a way of surprising your opponent, especially if they don't know what you're running. Overall, I think each of these cards has its benefits in one way or another. I just don't think the 2 toads with 1 sting is actually that usable, whereas I think Link Apple on the other hand is definitely a card I'd like to pick up. What do you guys think of these cards? Is there anything that's your favourite? And which card don't you like from this selection? As always, make sure to click the link on the video so you can see more of them, and I hope you enjoy.